Blessed morning, collective. This is pretty unusual. I would not usually be doing something like this. I haven't pulled a reading in the morning in quite a while. And I don't know if it's going to be a 6 card, maybe just 3. But there's been this heaviness. And fear. Intense fear. I mean, it's coming through as all kinds of different things. Agitation. I would just call it that also. But it is it's a fear at the way something is playing out or hasn't played out yet. Feeling of being forced, of your hand being forced, and there's a almost defensiveness there, but it's just fear. Like all defensiveness, it's happening because we're afraid, we're feeling exposed and vulnerable and unexpectedly so. And I'm trying to just feel it. There's just been these waves of agitation that come through. Very irritated, angry, none of which is bad, of course. That's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. That's just, it's what I'm feeling. And it is this really kind of tensed up energy, like somebody's gonna fight me. You're gonna come at me. You're gonna, I don't know, that feeling of needing to be guarded. There's a guardedness, that defensiveness, that balled up intention and resistance, and it's exhausting. It's really tiring. And I feel like I want just a general message for this. I just want a general message for this. This is just general. If it applies to anybody, if there's something here that resonates with you, then take it the way that it applies for you. If there's nothing here, if it just doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. Don't try to make it. There's a lot of uncertainty. Something is calling. We can feel that something is coming. I mean, there are obvious shifts taking place, but there's another piece of it that's hidden. There's hidden energy here. That's what I want to say. Something is happening under the surface. There's a lot of hidden energy. It feels mysterious. It's a little scary. It feels kind of scary. But if we can just relax into it, it won't feel so frightening. We don't have to be so guarded and so tense against it. It's flowing one way or another. We can let it flow, or we can try to kind of fight it. It doesn't change the flow. It doesn't change the fact that it's happening, that it's moving, and that there are these components that we are not aware of yet. We're not privy to. There's stuff happening behind the scenes. Of course, that's always true, but we can kind of feel it, and it is a little bit, there's a little bit of this, just tell me already. I just want to know. Just communicate. Just bring me in on this plan. So I am not left in the dark, but that's a part of it. A part of it is being left in the dark, is feeling that way. I'm not sure why, but it has to do with trust. It has to do with learning to trust in a bigger way, to surrender in a bigger way, even when it looks like nothing is happening. That's when the most is happening. When the water is still at the surface, that's when everything underneath is moving. Frustration. Feeling like we're spinning our wheels. Just going round and round and round and round. Like, we would like to make a decision, but it doesn't feel like there is a right decision, or it's not time to make a decision yet. There's not a decision to make. It's something is just, it's stuck. It feels stuck inside. And it's, yeah, we're not feeling so confident. Yeah, it's all ego. It's all in the mind. That's not a judgment. It's just, the soul is never afraid of anything, right? The soul isn't worrying or contemplating anything. All of that is mental, masculine energy. And it is ego that tricks us into this whole, I gotta keep thinking, I gotta figure it out, I gotta think my way out of this. But that is a trap. It is swords. That's the trap. And it's creating so much anxiety. There's something really beautiful and really sweet and really new. It's, if we could just step away from the doing, gotta figure it out, gotta make it happen kind of energy, and into this curious, innocent, receptive kind of place, there's something really wonderful coming in, but it's nascent. It's just, we can't see it because it's growing. It's coming. It'll grow quickly. There's a lot there. There is so much behind the scenes. And it's all the looking for it, the looking, and not finding. When we're looking for something, when we're in that mode of seeking, we're not finding it. And that's what keeps it spinning like that. It is like trying to get out of a rut and you are just hitting the gas. You're just spinning your wheels. You just keep trying. You keep trying the same thing, and it gets more and more frustrating, more upsetting, more anxiety inducing. You keep thinking, you start thinking, I'll never get out of this. It'll never happen. Never, never, never. That creates this sense of panic again. And then the panic says, I gotta think my way out of it. I gotta think out of the panic. You keep thinking, you're just adding to the panic. It's just this cycle that feeds itself. I'm very familiar with that cycle. Very familiar. The notion that you can think your way out of anxiety, that's the trap. That is the trap. There is something feeding on that anxious energy. It's a part of you that is feeding on it, ultimately. But the only way out is to put down the thinking, is to just take a step back into this place of innocence. Saying, you know what? It's all coming. It is all coming. It's coming out of left field. It's coming from, how do I put this? I mean, we got 7 Pentacles, 6 of Wands, 10 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles. It's been building. It's gonna come out of what looks like nowhere. It's gonna look like there is a dead end. Like we've hit this dead end and there's nowhere to go, and suddenly it's gonna break through the wall. It'll just be revealed, and it's already building. It's already been there. We just gotta stop thinking about it. Stop worrying. I know, easier said than done. But when I say give up thinking, that's what I mean. It means recognizing, consciously recognizing this thought pattern, this thought cycle has no purpose. It's not accomplishing anything. It's not serving anything. There is nowhere to go. It'll make you feel like there is. It'll make you feel like this is the only path. Like, I have to follow this. I have to keep thinking. I have to figure it out. That's the only way I'm going to get out of this and out of this uncomfortable sensation of panic. It's not. It's just there to generate more panic. That's exactly what it's doing. Until you finally exhaust yourself and go, I just can't do this anymore. I'm so exhausted with all of this thinking and this worrying and this stressing. Notice that it is fear. Notice, are you afraid of what happens if you don't think these thoughts? If you don't figure it out, which is just code for thinking? Are you afraid? That's not guidance. That's ego. That's something else that's trying to manipulate us into thinking these thoughts, into following the thought, into taking it seriously. This thought that, oh, I better figure it out. I better think, because if I don't, it's irresponsible. It's dangerous. It means nothing's going to happen. We're so afraid that something isn't going to happen if we don't think. That's the trap. It's all coming. It's all happening. You can't stop it from happening. The thinking is irrelevant. It's a red herring. It is unnecessary. It's totally unrelated to the events that are lined up and taking place. All of the energy is aligned. It is all coming in. It's growing. It's growing. This is akin to, I got to think about the crop that I've planted in order to get it to sprout. You can think that thought. You can think that you're sitting there worrying about how it's growing and what it looks like and when it's going to show up and all of that. You can think that that has an effect on the growth rate of the corn and when and what it looks like. It doesn't. It's totally unrelated, disconnected entirely. In fact, the less you think about it, the more likely it is to just pop up. It's coming anyway. It's not going to miss you, and it's not going to be excessively delayed, but all of this thinking is keeping us from finding. All of the seeking is keeping us from letting in. You got to just direct your focus somewhere else entirely. This is why I like the practice of putting down thought. There are different ways to do this. I mean, then the thought will make you afraid in a new way. It'll tell you that you're distracting yourself from something important, right? You're not doing the work. You're escaping. You're not escaping the way that you think you are. It's actually, here's the really tricky thing. Escaping into the anxious thought is avoiding doing the work of putting that thought down. Can you feel that? That's the escape. It's actually, you're trying to change this anxious emotion. And first of all, it was injected. It was injected by a thought pattern. It's not really yours. It's just a sensation that was created in the body because of a thought that drifted through. That thought was put there because of a piece of the egoic entity that knew it could trigger you, it could scare you enough with that thought to convince you to take it seriously and to focus your attention on it. And now it's got your energy. Now it's got your energy. It's got a direct stream. It's being fed by that. And it likes that. So it wants to attract your attention. It attracts your attention with fear by putting something so scary, so heinous, so disturbing in your mind that you go, whoa, what is that? Clearly I got to figure that out because I don't want that there. That shouldn't be there. That thought is so uncomfortable or so upsetting that I have to take it seriously. This one I got to take seriously. That's the trick. Thinking that you're going to stop a thought and the way it's making you feel by thinking it more. That's not how it works. But when you see that, okay, these just fell out, so I'm going to look at them. When you see that, you start to break the connection. There's something trying to change. Something huge that's coming in. Something life-changing. That I don't like to use the word blocking because it's not going to miss us. You can't keep it out. It's just this resistance to a larger cycle shift because we're so concerned with the physical. How do I do this? How does this happen? And that resistance is creating a lot of pain and making it feel like it's just on the outskirts. It is coming in. You're attracting it in. That's the thing. You don't have to seek it. You don't have to find it. It finds you. Stop looking for it and let it come. What's this about? What's this about? We're gonna do 3 cards. I know you don't like it when I shuffle cards, but it's happening. It's happening. What's this about? This is a serious shuffle today. Look at that pissed off face. I know. How dare I? Sit tight. Just sit tight. You are sitting pretty, whether or not it feels like it, whether or not you think you are. You got it all. Sit in that energy, that it's all coming to you. Yeah, come on. Very attractive energies of the Empress. This is definitely about a physical shift. Your energy is tied up in worrying. Free that energy and free yourself really emotionally. When that energy is tied up, it doesn't feel good. It's out of balance because it's going in this loop. Strength underneath. It's okay that there's fear. We don't need to be rid of fear. Stop trying to be rid of fear, to be fearless, to uproot the fears entirely. That's a trap. That's a trap too. All of this thinking, again, I can get out of this place of feeling fear if I just think my way through it. Then I'll feel better. Stop trying to feel better that way. Stop trying to feel better with thinking out of uncomfortable feeling. That's not how it works. If you're trying to feel better by thinking your way out of discomfort like fear, it's a trap. It's only generating more fear and more anxiety. The way out is to stop trying to escape that sensation, to let the fear be there, to let the anxiety, the panic, the uncertainty, the discomfort, let it be there and stay with it. Emotionally, stay in the feeling. Stop trying to think about it. Stop letting feeling rise into thinking. Again, I know it's easier said than done. I know. Truly, I do. But once you become aware of it, you can put it into practice. Just sit in the feeling. That's liberating that energy. That feeling is stuck because we keep trying to think our way out of it. Let it be felt that actually releases and balances that energy. And your experience of the uncomfortable emotion, the uncomfortable sensation, anxiety, angst, panic, whatever it is, becomes less upsetting. If you're able to just sit in it and say, this is okay, I'm allowing this to happen, I am allowing this sensation to move through me. Yeah, sit still. Stop fighting it. Letting that energy flow through you not only relieves the tension, actually, because there are no unpleasant sensations when we're not resisting them. It is only resistance that generates suffering. So not only do we feel better, when we stop trying to escape the feeling and we just sit in it, removed from thought, that part is very important. Silent in the mind, just feeling directly, not following a thought anywhere. That's where we find the peace of surrender. That's actual acceptance. That's true acceptance. That's what that means. You're no longer trying to change this emotion by analyzing it, by understanding it, by thinking your way through it or out of it. You're just letting it be here, and you're not following the thoughts. That frees up that energy, that balances it. Balanced energy feels good to us. And it has the side effect of magnetizing. You have to be holding a void. If your energy field is filled up with this loop, then nothing can come in the way that it wants to. It takes the path of least resistance, and there is always a moment where you release resistance, even if it's only ever when you're sleeping. In your sleep, you do release resistance, even when you're having dreams. You're not putting out that same energy that you were. Excuse me. Pardon me. Who's thinking about me? Most of us, when we wake up, we pick up that same pattern immediately again. We had set it down when we went to sleep, pretty much by force because we fell asleep. And as soon as we wake up, we start thinking that same thought again. We fall into the same cycle. Early in the morning, if you can catch yourself doing that, just really notice that that's happening. And it's natural to feel upset about that too. Notice all of it. Whatever feeling arises, if you feel upset, if you feel angry about it, then use that as your entryway. Sit with that feeling. Don't try to think your way out of that feeling. Just sit with it quietly. Again, quiet means quiet in the mind. It means you're focusing on the sensation entirely. Focusing on the experience of that sensation, excuse me. And letting it express. Knight of Wands. We want to move. It's avoiding the emotional experience, though. There's this feeling like we want to go. The truly brave thing to do is not to soldier on. It's to sit right here. It's to sit still. There's the frustration that we are to sit in. It seems counterintuitive, but look, adding all of this motion, the motion, Knight of Wands, to this is what keeps the balls in the air. It keeps this infinite loop happening. It keeps anything from actually landing, right? But if we stop adding to the motion of it, if we sit still, we're freed from it, actually. What is this card that wanted to come off? There's the mind is going to tell you otherwise. The mind is, of course, it wants you to think. It wants you to keep the mind active. That's putting your energy there. That's feeding it. Of course. That is so natural that it wants that to happen, and that it will come up with any excuse, any explanation to say this is the direction you need to go. Put all of your energy into thinking. Recognize that pattern. Recognize you don't need to think. You're so powerful. You are so blessed. You are so provided for. You don't need to think. The solution, the answer you're seeking is stillness. Mental stillness in particular. That doesn't mean you stop moving. But if you have to do, then focus on the being behind the doing. And let your doing be the reason for itself, not trying to create an outcome. Which is why I would say, if the doing involves searching, it's pretty sticky to try and separate that from the desire to find, to create an outcome of finding. So set the searching down, at least for a while, and if you pick it up playfully. You're not looking to find something. Or if you are, you're just looking for something that sparks your interest. That's what you're looking for. You're saying, universe, show me something that lights me up. And it's light, it's easy. Can you feel that it's not a serious thing there? I'm just looking for something to want. Looking for something that excites me. Show me something that lights me up. I'm going to sit here and wait. Show me. That should be your attitude in looking through anything. Show me, universe. Show me something that I want. Show me what I want. And then you're sitting in this place of knowing that you'll see something. Can you feel the power of that? And that if you don't see something this time around, look, if you start feeling frustrated that you're not seeing it, we're not going at it the right way. That's immediately, as soon as we feel the frustration, put that thing down. Put that thing, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, if you feel the tickles of frustration, go, oh, I've gone a little too far with it. Time to stop there. If it stops feeling good, stop doing it. Just notice that it's no longer feeling good. Of course, that King of Wands was on top. Yeah, it's just a lot of mind energy, a lot of masculine, a lot of ego. Again, ego is not a dirty word. Ego is beautiful. Bless the ego. But it doesn't understand how things happen. It doesn't understand how the universe operates. And it creates a lot of extra tension and suffering. Look, there's a part of ourselves that really likes suffering. That's okay too. Just acknowledge that part. Just make it conscious. Make it conscious and stop fighting it. You can play with this any way that you want. You can acknowledge there's a part that likes this sensation of stuck in a rut, just spinning my wheels, and you can make that a positive experience by doing it consciously, engaging in it consciously. When you make it conscious, then you have the choice. You have more power. You can choose to do it on purpose and to let yourself deliberately derive satisfaction and pleasure from that. Or you can choose to set it down and do something else. I'm going to take this Queen of Pentacles off and leave it crossing the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles and Wands. That's interesting. There's no actual emotion here. Oh, okay. Five of Swords. I was just thinking there's no air either. There's technically no intellect happening. It's or involved. There's no actual intelligence because ego is artificial intelligence. And again, it's it's just trapping our energy. It's making us feel like the false victory is this whole I'll think my way out of it thing. It's a loop. It's a labyrinth. That's what I want to say. Is it looks like it's the exit. It's not. It is not. And I am taking that for the Knight of Wands. Yeah. The true strength, the truly courageous, brave thing to do is not to fight this feeling. Yeah, and again, that's where the liberation is found. It's not to take action right now. There's this feeling we got to go, we got to dive in, we got to fight. That's what looks like the answer. It's not. It's not. Sit still. Three of Pentacles is building. Something is building. Let it build up so that it can erupt. I get that it can be very uncomfortable when you feel something building. Tension can be extremely unpleasant, but it can also be extremely pleasant. It's also blissful. Think about it the other way. The building of desire, something that you really want, and you know it's right there, but you can't quite, you're holding yourself back from it a little bit. Ooh, think about that exquisite kind of tension. I can feel that. I feel that right now. That's doing things that, ooh, I want it. I want that. And that wants me. But there's this additional sort of, ooh, we're letting it build. We're letting that tension rise, right? That's the kind of tension that you want. It's really the same thing. It's just your attitude, it's your perspective, your perception of it that changes the way that it feels, that shifts it from suffering to pleasure. Let it be pleasure. This tension can build in a pleasing way. It absolutely can. Or it can build in a deeply upsetting way. There's a dichotomy here. We've got upsetting sword cards, and we've got fiery, confident. It's, ooh, that's an interesting balance. Put the passion into the sensation, and into feeling the sensation and feeling it rise. Feel how good it feels to want something. To actually let that energy build up and flow inside your body, instead of putting it into this mental space where it's just trapped. Bring it back down into the body. Play with that sensation. Experience it. You're here to experience sensation. You want that. Intense sensation is what you desire. This is desired. We're just not letting ourselves have it. We're not letting ourselves experience this desire inside the body. There's more to that, but I don't quite know how to put it. Torture. Everything is torture. It can be pain or it can be pleasure. You get to decide. You get to pick. Just really think of it that way. Everything can be, oh my God, this is torture, or oh, sweet torture, right? There's a difference. You know there's a difference. I keep getting these cards falling out. Yeah. Three of Wands. So that's it. It's coming in. It's been called in. It is coming. We just got to let it come. You have no power over this. Ship is steering itself, right? We're not on the ship. We don't control when and how it arrives, but we have called it and it is arriving. Just stop looking out and start sitting in that knowledge, that feeling, that building of anticipation. It's coming, it's coming, ooh, it's coming. Instead of looking for it, trying to spot it as far out in the horizon as you can, stop looking, close your eyes, sit in the anticipatory sensation of its imminent arrival. Notice, is there a part of you that's afraid of it showing up? That's not a bad thing. Again, that's not going to stop it. This is part of the play. Is there a part of you that's afraid of it showing up? Examine that. You can dread the wonderful. What happens if all of your wildest dreams come true? What happens if this thing arrives? Is there a part of you that goes, oh no? Oh no? But if this shows up, then I have to accept my worthiness, or accept love and appreciation, or accept that my new magical life is unfolding before me. Be really honest about that. There's definitely parts of ego that are not happy about the imminent arrival of your glory and success and desire. So give that some space within yourself. Acknowledge that there are parts that don't want this to happen. Maybe you're really comfortable where you are. Maybe you're really settled. I'm not judging that. There's no judgment of that. And that's, again, not going to stop anything. It's just really honestly looking at everything that is happening emotionally inside of you, not mentally. You can access all of this through feeling. That's the way to get to it, is feeling. Yeah, is there a part of me that is pushing this away? That's okay. That's okay. It's coming anyway. Is there a part of me that is afraid of this grand adventure that is going to show up at my door? Because now I have to take it. Now I have to go experience all of this unknown bliss. I was really comfortable in my suffering. I was really comfortable in the anxiety and in the thinking and in the repeating patterns. But now that I've noticed the pattern, it stops repeating. You don't have to end the pattern. That's not how it works. You just notice it. Once you've noticed it, you've unplugged it. It starts to fall apart. The minute that you notice that you make an unconscious pattern conscious, it's lost its ability to create in your reality. The wheels just start to fall off. It starts to lose steam. It starts to lose momentum. It's going to keep trying to get your attention, but even then, the jig is up. You have noticed. You can't unsee it. Even if you forget a little bit again and the veil comes back over, it does not ever have the same power that it had. You made it conscious. It can't go back to being entirely unconscious. You will notice it again, and it will lose steam. It will lose power. So just keep noticing it. That's it. Again, you don't have to dismantle anything. You don't need to think your way out of this cycle. You don't need to worry about self-sabotage. Just be really honest about what you're feeling. Because even the self-sabotage is a part of yourself being satisfied. When you can notice that and acknowledge that, you realize really you're always winning. Even if there's something that looks like it went wrong, like you sabotaged yourself, well, a different part of yourself succeeded and is very satisfied with the outcome. And you can just line up with that part of you that is satisfied and feel good. You can let yourself take satisfaction in everything that you've created, even if it looks like something that went totally against what you wanted. There is nothing that happens that isn't at some level desired. If we can acknowledge that and let ourselves take pleasure in it, well, then really that's the goal anyway, isn't it? To feel good. So we win. We win no matter what. But the side effect is that those parts that are creating become less controlling. If we notice what we would have called self-sabotage, perhaps, if we notice that pattern taking place, even if it is after the fact, oh, yep, I did that. A part of me is so satisfied with that because it really enjoys feeling martyred or betrayed or victimized. And it's so just basking in this. It feels good. In fact, I'm going to line up with that part of myself and say, good job at what you created, calling your desire into existence. Now we get to bask in the fulfillment of a desire, and you get to feel good. You get to feel good. Give yourself radical permission to feel good about things that even the mind is looking down upon, is rejecting totally. That's loving yourself. That's loving shadow. That's integrating shadow. And when you allow that to happen, you integrate that component of yourself. It's no longer unconscious and rejected in its desires. By acknowledging them consciously and allowing that pleasure to be experienced, there's no longer this gap where these two parts of yourself are competing in their desire. You have allowed one to succeed, to experience that pleasure, and by doing it consciously, you bring that unconscious energy into the fold. You merge your energies, you close the gap, and now that unconscious piece is no longer manifesting the way that it was. It's been satisfied in its desire. It got what it wanted. You allowed it to, and you allowed yourself the conscious experience of that. Now, you're working together again. Now it's not fighting your conscious desires with unconscious ones. We have unconscious desires for all kinds of things. And we manifest them all the time, successfully. And if we just let ourselves acknowledge and take pleasure in those things, then those intentions would be satisfied consciously in a way that we get to experience the joy of them, the satisfaction of them. And we can just move on. We can just let that go. Tell me about the King of Wands. But there is something, this is a wonderful tool that I feel is very valuable, that I've played with a little bit. It's mentioned in Existential Kink. The way that she puts it is dreading the wonderful for fun and profit. But it involves being really honest. You're using all parts of yourself. You're allowing the expression of all parts of yourself in this awareness that what I want, what I've asked for is coming to me, but there are parts of me that don't want it. And so let me use my existing muscles of expectation for negative events to dread a positive event. Oh my God, the money is coming. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. It really fucking sucks that no matter what, I get this money. That now I'm just gonna have all this money to buy all of these things, and there's a part of me that really, really enjoyed and is gonna have to give up the drama of financial scarcity. It's really disappointed in that, and it's just so unfortunate that there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about the end of my drama of poverty. And man, have I enjoyed that. And those parts of me are really bummed to let that go. But there's just nothing I can do about my incoming financial abundance. It's just gonna hit me. I can't be missed by it. It's inevitable. I mean, I'm gonna strike out and win the lottery at some point. You can only hit so many home runs of tiny paychecks before eventually you strike out and you make all the money, and then you don't get to play that game anymore of struggle and scraping and scarcity. There's those parts of me that are really, really not happy about that, but there's just nothing I can do. It's happening. It's happening anyway. It's happening anyway. It's coming in. To me, this is just focus on the feeling. This is a change of gears. Focusing on the feeling. Staying in the feeling space instead of the mental space. But it is that victory after a long battle. That guy who everybody thought was dead, and they held a funeral and all that stuff, and then he comes riding into town. Yep, that's here. Yep, it's all coming in. It's all coming in. And if we just sit in this space, I mean, we feel it. But one way or another, it's all coming in, and we can't stop it. Look at these cards. It's been tied up a little bit. It's only tied up in the mental space. Once we set down the thinking and we let our emotion just flow, we open the heart. Your heart is your generator. Staying in the heart, staying in the feeling realm, that's what makes you super mega black hole attractive. And it's black hole attractive because nature abhors a void. It wants to fill in that space. You're calling it in by holding that space open. You hold that space open by not filling it with the thought that's just continuously generating this uncomfortable emotion. When you just let the emotion be there, then it's free to express, it's free to move on. You're just sitting in that open channel. Now things are flowing through you, and more things gotta come in. They can't not. That's how you attract. Queen of Wands, the attractive energy of the Empress. You attract not with any thinking. You don't think your way into anything or out of anything. You put down the thought. You feel into yourself again. There's attractive energy, sexual energy. It's all very much the same. Creative energy is sexual. The heart and the sacral chakra. Those things connected. That's supercharged attraction right there. I don't think I have anything else to say, but I want to come back to that whole enjoying the tension, playing with it, knowing that what you want wants you. Feel how good it feels to be wanted. And to be, you know, locking eyes with something across the room and kind of you're flirting with it. Be in that flirtatious, playful energy. It's not serious. It's not heavy. You get to control that. Just step out. It's the mental space that generates the illusion of seriousness, which is what gives things weight and gravity. Introduce levity by realizing that nothing is serious. It's all just a trap. Oh, now I have to stretch. It's all just a trap. Oh, that's a good way to get some energy moving too. Let it out. Yeah. But you're generating a lot of heat with this. So, I mean, it's really coming in. Like, it's right there. It's ready to just burst through the door. Just put down the thinking. Step into the feeling. Stop looking for it. It's already here. It's already here. It's already here. There is nothing to do to make it happen more quickly. It's happening in the right time. The best time. That's a part of this. So just sit back in your anticipation, your eager anticipation, your expectation that it's already here. It can't not come. It can't not come. Because it wants you so much. Can you hear? There's no accident in the words that we use and the way that we use them. What you want wants you so much that it can't help but come. Yeah, those words mean more than one thing, don't they? Play with that. That's not an accident. That's on purpose. Play with that. How good does it feel to be that desired? And that what desires you is what you are desiring in the same way. You don't need to think about a thing. This is not a thinking journey, it's a feeling one. Just trust. I'm going to stop it here. I'm not going to call a final message, any of that. This is sufficient, I think. I feel. And I have repeated myself quite a lot, so that's it. That's it. That's the whole message. Sit in your pleasure in knowing that it's all coming in. Whatever you do, allow yourself to take pleasure in it consciously. That's really it. If you want to think, go ahead and think, but know what's happening and find a way to let it feel good for you, because that's all we want anyway, right? That's the whole goal, is to feel good. So let that happen. Find the part of yourself that's satisfied, because there's always a part of you that's satisfied with what's happening, and line up with that. Get satisfied. Get feeling good. Let the tension be exquisite. It's all happening, one way or the other. It is coming. It can't not come. Enjoy the knowledge that what you have attracted cannot help but arrive. Have a beautiful morning. And just know it's all working out for you. And that always and in all ways, through every vector of time and space. You are fucking powerful. You are wanted. You are delicious. And I love you. Take it easy.